Hello and welcome back to another character creation video. My name's Lumen and today we're back in Diablo 4, this time for Vessel of Hatred and the Spiritborn class. I'm super keen for this. I've heard nothing but good things about the expansion and the class itself, and I couldn't be more excited. Continue your fight to thwart the diabolical plot of the Prime Evil Mephisto. Battle as the all-new Spiritborn class, empowered by mystical spirits. Expand your map to the new region of Nahantu and traverse through its lush jungles. Recruit new mercenaries, take on new enemies, dungeons, a new PvE co-op challenge called the Dark Citadel, and more. Plus, explore base game updates that introduce new power and continue to enhance the world of Diablo 4. So if you'd like to do a deep dive to discover all there is to discover about Vessel of Hatred and the Spiritborn, I will put some links below, and as always there will be timestamps. Use them, find what you're looking for and leave satisfied. An example of doing exactly that is you could skip right now. If you're interested in the female customization, just click on the timestamp. It'll get you there, because we're going to do a whole lot of other stuff before that. Here we go, alright? I'm going to start with just the class description, what it's all about. Then we're going to watch the Spiritborn trailer together. Then I'm going to do female customization. Then I'm going to do female randomization. Then male customization. Then male randomization. Then we're going to have a look at all the new classes in the new menu that they have. Then we'll check the new hairstyles out that they've added for the other classes as well. Then it's the outro. That's it. That's the plan. Let us begin. Spiritborn. Spiritborn are exceptional warriors, meld in mastery of their bodies with spiritual gifts. Strong and agile, few enemies match their ferocity. You can see a little preview of some of their abilities here. They do look phenomenal, like, for real. They've done incredibly well. And I think that it's kind of nice to play as them in this new expansion, because obviously they will fit the theme. They will fit right in, and they'll most likely have some small, unique content available to them and them alone. I can't wait to check it out myself. So, their playstyle: martial arts, close combat specialists, spirit empowerments, mix the gifts from animal spirits to create a unique style, and then high mobility, fast, agile, and deadly. Spiritborn leap into the fray. God. Yeah, and I mean, geez, look at this. Just look how cool their armor looks. Let's watch the trailer. If you'd like to skip this, you can just skip ahead, straight to the customization. I would not blame you. There's a good chance you've seen it. Let's go.
Only a few among my people can become Spiritborn. As children, the most promising face judgment in the mist. Our trial begins and ends with pain. Those who are not called are culled. For the weak, all paths end here. For the worthy, that path leads to power beyond compare, and a sacred charge to wield it well. Though the mortal world was designed to break us, our hearts, our minds, our bodies, there is another which makes us bold. We are without fear. We are without equal. We walk with the ancient guardians of the unformed lands. Their power is our power. Their cause is our cause. We forge unbreakable bonds in the spirit realm to defeat the horrors of this one. For we are Spiritborn.
That is just so sick. I mean, what a cool trailer. Oh. Alright. So if that didn't sell you, let's jump in. Let's zoom in. Let's have a look at what these characters look like that we're going to be playing on. So I'm selecting Spiritborn over here. Confirm class. Then we get to pick male or female. As I mentioned, we're going to go on the female first. Look at this. Look at this armor. Guys, check the cool claws on the hands. I mean, I don't need to tell you about the boobs sticking out. You can see that. There are these amazing looking body modification extras that are stuck on the armor. You'll see when we zoom in now. But as I said, we're going to jump in here. We're going to peek at the presets first. So for female, you get a decent selection here of 8 presets. And I really mean decent. They actually look pretty good. I will say that I would have preferred like at least one like pale skin option with a bit of green on it. It's actually something that I've already put together for the thumbnail. I love the look of like a slightly... It's funny because it starts looking a bit like a necromancer at that point, but it is really cool. The styles that they have here, however, are pretty awesome. Like they... Yeah, you can see that they sort of favor a certain type of hair, which kind of makes sense, once again, given their background, their ethnicity, and their upbringing. But there is a decent selection, and you do get to sort of go in almost any direction that you want to go in. I am, for the purposes of the video, going to pick the first preset, but once again, that's what they look like. They have also got, in my opinion, basically the best body shape of the females available right now. If you like one of the presets, you can just click finalize, jump straight into the game and go, or you can customize. And this is actually why we are here. So this is what the character's model looks like. Again, I love it. I think they've done such a great job. They have these cool body modification extras, and I think that they just work incredibly well. I don't know how they've been inserted into the skin. I don't ask those questions. I just like the way they look, right? So for the character creation, you can actually zoom all the way out. You can zoom in, and you can zoom all the way in. It's probably the best idea to go all the way in for the face variants. Then you can also show and remove the armor. And that's actually showing the armor, by the way. I just want to point out that I put the armor on and it's covering way less. It's pretty cool because you can see that these extras are changing. The armor itself is obviously like super duper detailed, and there's just a lot of cool stuff going on. It's nice. I'll leave the armor on. No need to thank me. We are zooming in, however, to look at the faces. 4 different faces, pretty standard fare for Diablo, not a massive selection, and you're not really straying all that far from, let's call it, the beaten path of the Spiritborn. You are basically looking at a few different ethnicity choices here. You know, you can see that with basically the eye shape, the nose shape, the jawline, stuff like that are changing. And in my opinion, they change to great effect because the faces do look and feel quite different. Obviously, to complete what you are going for here, you'll want to throw a skin tone on there as well. Now, I do firmly believe this one makes a lot of sense when you're going for Spiritborn. It just looks great on them. But I mentioned earlier, I've done some phenomenal stuff with the pale skin tones, and I truly believe it can shine and it can look wow. I mean, that's the thing, is even the darker ones can look pretty amazing. So for the skin tones, much like the other classes, there is a decent selection, and I do like that they have these sort of mixed options as well, where you have some blemishes, where you have some basically extras. You will obviously note that there's markings and stuff like that on the face right now. That can obviously be changed. We'll get to that soon enough. But yeah, for the most part, you can go pretty pale and you can go pretty dark here, and I like that. I want to say maybe you could have gone a little darker, but you are jumping into the role of a Spiritborn here, and if this is what makes sense for them, then this is what makes sense for them, and that's cool. They also have some vitiligo here, and I mentioned before that I firmly believe that Diablo's vitiligo is just some of the best looking. And you know why? I get the feeling it's because they don't go too wide with it. You know, they just give you a few options that look good. Now, obviously it might not be great because you might not be able to find one that works for you. They don't give you different patterns or anything like that. But I do believe that the ones that they have here look pretty phenomenal. Like visually, they're great. Yeah, they make sense. So again, for the purposes of this video, we're going to go back to the default skin tone that we were on, and we're going to look at the eyes. There are some really nice eyes here. You can go for what I would call the more standard eye colors. I mean, they're not really, but they're close enough. I mean, like, you'll probably find people out there, you know, in the real world with any of these eye colors over here. But then they give you some more interesting ones when you go past crystal, incandescent green, incandescent purple, and incandescent yellow. And I obviously thoroughly enjoy these ones. You can also see that the white on the eye changes. These two are darker, and those two are lighter. It's cool. I specifically really love the yellow one. I think it looks awesome, but they can all absolutely work. The green's also nice. It's nice having that contrast there. The combos that you can pull off with the skin tones and the eyes, pretty nice. Really, really cool stuff, once again. But, again, for the purposes of this, we'll just select that skin tone. Let's take these eyes because they look kind of nice, and we'll move on to the next part. Now we have hairstyles. The hairstyle number may look higher than the hairstyles on the other classes, but that's because there've actually been a lot of new additions to the base game as well. So we have the Spiritborn unique ones here, plus we've got a few extras, and there's just a, yeah, there's just a nice assortment. And this is something that I mentioned when I did the base Diablo 4 video. The hair in this game is just great. It's great. I mean, look at that. Look at the hair physics. It's just wow. It's wow. It's really cool. I do believe some of the styles look nicer than others. As an example, this one is a little bit more rigid. And you can sort of see that with the texture work that they have on it. And sometimes on some of these styles, the connection to the scalp and stuff like that doesn't always look as great. But for the most part, they're actually pretty great. They're pretty nice. I do like the way that they've done the stubble here. That's something that I always tend to look at. The ponytail has nice physics. I think they've gone the right route with the physics on most of the hair here, where they don't give the physics to the short styles where it doesn't really make sense. And when they do put it on the long styles, then they don't overdo it, because that can also be super janky. But a lot of these hairstyles you will recognize, and then some of these are new. This one is specifically one of the new ones. There is now a very, very nice selection of long hair versus short hair, and I love what they've done. I just love that they've gone out and given us basically everything, you know, everything we need. This one's quite big. You can't even see it above the screen over there, but there's just a really nice collection here, and you will see some crossover between the male and female characters. That one is, oof, dude, that's really nicely done as well. You'll definitely see some crossover. But I would say the one thing is they could potentially have just given a few more short styles. I'd love to see stuff like mohawks and slightly more crazy styles on some of the female characters. They generally tend to not have them. I know the rogue has some stuff like that, but yeah, this is just also a really cool style. I don't know why I really like this one, but we'll stick with this one for now, because it just sort of suits the Spiritborn. We've just gone through all of them, in case you're wondering. Now, the facial hair section, which they did not rename, it is just for the eyebrows, right? So it's just facial hair. You're not getting a mustache or a beard or anything like that. They could have just called it eyebrows, but it's fine. It is technically your face. It's not wrong. It's not wrong. You know, it's not wrong. Looks a little weird when you remove it, but they have a nice selection of eyebrows, and the eyebrows look great. Like, there's just nothing else to say about it. The amount of, let's say, texture that they have, and I don't mean that in just, you know, how the texture work looks. I mean the amount of texture, you know, the meat on the brows looks good. They've added just the right amount of individual strands versus, you know, the eyebrow itself. It doesn't look like a flat texture that they just paste on there, and that's cool. And, you know, I'm an eyebrow enjoyer, okay? So I dig the idea of there being a few more bushy brows here. They're not all these finely combed, well-kept brows. They have some of those, like this one, but they have some bushy styles as well, and I kind of dig that, you know? It's beautiful. It's really nice. I don't know which one the default was. I'm guessing it was maybe the first one? I can't for the life of me remember, but I love the idea that they have some slightly bigger brows. I always take the notched brow, just because. Hair color. The hair colors are mostly the same, and I say mostly because there are actually some new interactions with hair colors and styles. So some of the new styles that they added look a little different than the old styles looked with these colors that are available, right? So if you perhaps have a character that you are sort of sweet on and you've been playing it for a while and you haven't actually gone back to your customization to look at what it looks like, I would do it. I would go and check it out, because there could be some new like interactions with the hairstyles that you perhaps didn't enjoy quite as much before that would look better now. But yeah, it's well worth having a peek at, because there's always small things that they change, that they tweak, that they modify. And yeah, it can make a big difference. I don't know why, but for the most part, I really like the black. Again, I think it's the contrast between this nice dark skin and then the super dark black. It's cool. And when you put like a sort of a tealy or whitey or a color on them, then it feels like you're being indecisive in a way. I don't know. I don't know how to explain it, but I just like this look for Spiritborn. Our final section is the accessories section. Here we have makeup, and I really dig what they've got here. Now, some of them will obviously be more visible on the lighter skin tones or on the darker skin tones, but they do look pretty nice. As an example, this one, and I will show you this quickly because you can see these little veins and stuff like that a little more clearly, and it looks a little bit more freaky, you know, a little bit more gross when you put it on the lighter skin tone, and it's almost invisible on the darker skin tone. I'm going to quickly just turn these markings off as well so you can properly see the others. But there are some really nice choices regardless. I'm not hugely impressed by some of the texture work on these, but I do think that that's what they were going for with them. It's not that they did it badly or they implemented it badly or whatever. It's just that I think that they were going for the smoother look, and when you zoom out, it's like, you know, you don't even notice it. So when you all the way in here, when you see your character maybe in the cutscenes and stuff like that, then it's perhaps more visible. But yeah, for the most part, it does look fine. Ashen Ember, I think, is new. Frozen Sea might be new, and Sharp Shadow might be new. I'm not sure if the Undershade one is new. I don't know. But there are a few new ones here. I'm not usually one to put makeup on characters, but I will tell you, from my experience playing this game, I always look at the eyes when they are naked like this, without the makeup, and I think to myself, it feels like they don't have all the shading they need there. It's not entirely true. They do, and it looks great, but I believe it looks better when you throw a little bit of makeup on, even if you go for something subtle. Just like, as an example, this one. It depends on what you're going for, obviously. Sometimes you want a more pure look and you don't want any of those on there. But you're playing a Spiritborn, you have all these options available. Hey man, go crazy. Just have fun with it, you know? Just have fun with it. I'll put the bandit smoke... Well, actually no, for the purposes of this, once again, to show the stuff off, I will just turn it off, and I'll show you the markings without the eye stuff on. But we're first on the jewelry, so let's have a peek at that. This is the Seer's Bones. There's a bunch of stuff here. Again, a bunch of these, and a lot of the ones that you're going to be looking at here were in the game before. But then a few of them will definitely be Spiritborn additions. And I also feel a lot of the previous ones that were in the game before make more sense now that you add them onto your Spiritborn. I mean, I'm not going to say they were made for this, but I do believe a lot of them would suit the sort of tribal witch doctor-y style that we've got going here. And it's kind of interesting. I saw a lot of people saying, oh yeah, well, okay, I guess we're not getting the Amazon or the witch doctor now because this one is like a combo of the two. And hey, if I'm going to be like straight with you, I think that's a good thing. We don't want the same constantly. They should push the envelope a little bit. They should do new stuff, and that's what they did with the Spiritborn, and I dig what they came up with. Visually, obviously, and in terms of the gameplay. The overall aesthetic of the Spiritborn is just phenomenal. It's a really, really good fit for Diablo. And I am very excited to see what they do with the quote-unquote holy character when they finally do that. Because, I mean, we all know it's going to happen, right? Everyone's been shouting about Paladin or Crusader. So instead of making a Paladin or Crusader, there's a good chance they're just going to make some mashup of the two. And it's just going to be awesome. Yeah, look forward to that. I would say you heard it here first, but I'm pretty sure you heard it everywhere else as well. I like the Seer's Bones. I think it's cool to go hard if you're going to go hard. And I think that's where we started. I'm not entirely sure. We might have been on Seer's Bones. Yeah, that's where we started. I'm going to go back to them because I think they look awesome. Good fit. Now markings. So the markings, there's a lot of different colors here. And they again change massively just based on what you do with the colors. Fresh Blood, as an example, has this awesome gloss to it. And then some of the lighter colors obviously look way more intense. But we're going to start on Purple Mana for just the preview. And I will say to you that this one right here is one of the Spiritborn choices. You can see it's got basically bits and pieces of all the animal companions, the spirits on it. You can see the carapace going down the back there. You can see the leopard print, the claws, the goddamn spines, everything. It's really cool. And if I am not mistaken, these three over here, are the unique ones for Spiritborn. So there might be another one. I'm going to just check right now. So these will be your sort of lore-friendly choices. Not that you need markings, but if you're looking for something lore-friendly, then these will be the ones you'd go for. And they're really cool. Like, they are like massive. They cover a large part of the body, and the quality on them is just perfect. This might also be a Spiritborn one. I'm not entirely sure. But I do believe the next one is not. I think this one, yeah, I think this is one of the ones that they have on all the characters. But I'm not sure. I cannot, for the life of me, remember. Perhaps this is just Spiritborn. I don't know. But there you go. A lot of them are like under the armor and stuff like that. So if you hide the armor, you know, there's different bits and pieces that you'll see. There's the slashes. This is definitely old stuff. And you got this on the one side. I use this on my barbarian. There you go. I think I use this on my rogue, just because it looks cool. Or maybe this one. I don't know. But these are definitely from the base game. And that one also looks awesome. Like, that just suits any of the caster classes. Well, actually, any of the classes at all. This one looks too much like the Rocks tattoos. I don't know why. I don't know, it's that massive single sleeve that sort of puts me off it. Also nice. This one looks particularly good in the blood. That's the one we started on, I think. But there's more. There you go. Pretty cool. There's a lot of them. Yeah, we're on the last page now. There it is. Now, as we go back to the start, I will use these ones that cover most of the body to show you the different colors that are available. This one you can barely see. It's orange on a skin that is quite close to orange. This one is just beautiful. It just pops. It's called Camouflage. It's, wow. I think it suits the Spiritborn quite well also. There's teal. Cyan. Inked tattoo. I kind of like this. Scars. Which I don't quite understand. This works sometimes with some of the other ones, but like with this, it makes it look a little weird. You're going to have to mix and match to see what's good for you. This is the fresh blood one. Here's henna. Green moss. It's also similar to the camouflage, just a different lighter shade. Here's bright white, which is really bright. Blue. And finally yellow. So yeah, this is like a straight decent selection. And that does actually bring us to the end. When you click finalize, then you can select which campaign state you'd like to start, the original or the Vessel of Hatred campaign. You can choose seasonal or hardcore, or both. You can do both if you'd like. Then you put your name in, and then you start. But we are not finished. We are here now to randomize, so you guys can get a good look at what's available for female Spiritborn. I'm going to zoom in, because for the most part, this is the best view to look at. And I'm going to randomize. Let's do it. You're going to see that there's actually a really wide variety. Like, you can get characters here with the options that are available that look nothing like a Spiritborn. You can make your character look like whatever you want it to look like, but you obviously have the options that the Spiritborn starts with. And obviously, needless to say, you have the Spiritborn body type and the armor and stuff like that. So if I turn the armor on, it might look a little bit more distinctive. There's a lot that you can do here. There really is a lot, and you can go basically anywhere with it. I'm a fan. I think, and I said this earlier, that the body shape that they gave us here, and then the face selections and the skin tones and stuff like that, some of the best that we have in Diablo. I mean, I'm a barbarian enjoyer, and I probably always will be, but there are some really, really cool characters here that look relatively unique, and I mean, geez, this is nice. You can do a whole lot with it. So yeah, consider me impressed by the female customization. I'm going to say, as I jump into the male customization in a moment, that I actually prefer the female customization a little bit. Not a lot, but like a little bit. I think that the females look a little more unique. Okay, that's what I'll say. It's not that I don't like the males, it's just that I think that the females have a slightly more Spiritborn style to them. It is, again, how you build your character, but yeah. Now we're going to go back. We're going to go back all the way, and I'm going to select male. This is the beginning of the male customization. And we're going to actually start here by looking at the presets that they give us. Much like with the female, there's a decent selection here, and in terms of ethnicity and, well, pretty much everything that entails, you could probably find most of what you're looking for, and some of these designs are just phenomenal. Like, to me, and this might just be a me thing, these two, they scream Spiritborn at the top of their lungs. These two specifically. It just looks like it fits. This guy as well, actually. The other ones look good, and I dig them. This guy also looks kind of fierce. But man, something about these two just really works for me. Really works. But good selection here, and they show off a decent selection of the options available and stuff like that. You're going to want to see the full customization, however, so let us do that. I'll pick the first guy, and I will click Customize. We are in. We are gaming. The first choice that you get here is face. However, I'm going to mention to you that you can hide the armor. On the male, it actually removes everything on the top part of the body here, which is kind of nice. But the armor on does look really, really nice. Like, this is just really cool looking armor. Some of the stuff you will notice is sort of stuck in there. They've got these body modifications here. I don't exactly know what they are or what they're good for. If it's like, you know, helping to enhance their link to the spirits or something like that, or if it's just a stylistic choice. I don't know. I don't know the lore behind it, but it is kind of cool how they change them based on the armor that you equip. It's very nice. So you can show and hide the armor there. Then you can randomize as well, and you can zoom in all the way out and then all the way in to look at the face, which is what we're going to do now. And then I'll show you the variations on the faces. So in terms of the variations here, I feel like they're good. I feel like they look good. I did, however, think when I jumped in that the females had slightly better variety with the face choices, even though the males do look relatively nice. That's my thoughts on it. The males do look good, but there's not a huge difference between these. And I don't know, I say that when I look at the eyes, I think to myself, yeah, they're changing, but not that much. They do cover the ethnic bases, if you could call it that, a little bit, but hey. Let's jump in and look how the other options come together to change this. That's the default face. That's the one I think that they use for the standard male Spiritborn, so we're going to go with that. You can go very pale on the skin tone, and I like that. I think it's kind of cool. Again, even though most of the choices that they give you sort of a darker skin tone, then they have some textures on the skin as well. You'll notice when we click over from there to there, they have some freckles, some blemishes, stuff like that. And it changes the skin quite a lot, so it's kind of cool to see that. Then you can go relatively dark as well. And then you have some vitiligo here, which is cool. I mentioned on the female side of things, I really believe that the vitiligo in Diablo IV is just some of the best out there. In terms of its physical, like its appearance on the body, right? I think it just looks nice. There's not a huge variety. They've got the same one with 3 minorly different shades. But I still think it looks relatively nice. Now, for this video, we'll take something sort of in the middle of the pack over here. And let's look at the eye colors. Black eyes. Brown. More brown. More brown. 3 different blues. The eyes look good in this game. They always have, especially when you start going towards these eye colors over here. The crystal, green incandescent, purple incandescent, and yellow incandescent. These incandescent ones, they are generally different based on the class. As an example, the barbarian has like some really nice yellow and red ones, I think. I'm not sure what the third choice is, but there's some really cool colors that you can go for overall. But for this one, let's go for the green, just because I kind of like the look of it. And then let's move on. I don't really need to mention this, but you can obviously get some nice sort of combos with the different faces and the skin tones. You guys should know that by now, I suppose. But I like to mention it anyway. Hairstyles. There are a few styles that cross over between male and female, and that's cool. That's nice. I think actually 3 new unisex styles were added. Then there are a decent number of others as well. There are some really nice hairstyles here. I kind of like this one. This is one of the new ones, if I'm not mistaken. And I really like their style of braids that they have, and their style of dreadlocks. I think that they've done well with it. I like the way that they've done the stubble also. It's easy to do this badly, right? It's very easy to do this badly. You will notice as we go in through here, most of this is exactly the same as the female. Most. And that's okay. There's no problem with that. I actually am the guy that will push to have them exactly the same. I'm the guy that will push to say, hey, put them all on all of them, just because it makes sense. Let's go for something like the braids, like this. Well, braids / dreads. It's like a mix of the two. They're called Champion's Roots. Let's go for that, because I think it looks good. And let's look at the facial hair. Yeah, let's do it. I'm kind of keen. I'm actually going in blind here. This is one thing I did not look at. Wow. Damn. Dude. That's hot. This guy. That's looking good. Dude, that's just a good style, yeah. It's rugged. It suits the Spiritborn. The beard is okay. Like, this is okay. It's not bad. It's nothing on the beards on the druid, but like, you know, this guy also looks kind of fantastic without facial hair. His chiseled jawline is just like, it's sharp, dude. It's sharp. That's a better beard. Yeah, I don't know, man. This really does suit the Spiritborn, but for some reason this also looks really nice. Let's go with the one that we had before, and then let's look at the hair colors. Here's another point where you can sort of do some interesting combinations, where you go with the different hair colors and you mix it up with the skin tones and stuff like that. You could probably come up with some pretty good styles. These are obviously interesting. And I did mention this before, but I'll say again, a lot of these different colors have different interactions with the different hairstyles. So sometimes there's a lot more of the lighter color. So as an example, on let's say Red Fire, you've got the red and the black, right? On some of the styles, there's a lot more red versus the amount of black that they have. Like, you can go through them and you can have a look. Some of them have like barely anything, but it looks really nice. And some of them have a little bit more. And, well, it also looks nice. So keep that in mind and go through them all. Or just randomize a bunch. That's what I usually do. Moving on. Accessories. Let's have a peek here. So this is the makeup first. I'm going to take the markings off so you can see the makeup properly. There you go. Some pretty nice choices here. I kind of like these. I am not 100% sure, but I think they're exactly the same on male and female here. There's no difference. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. They are identical. Then we have jewelry, which is also exactly the same. Seer's Bones, that's the ones I actually picked for the females initially, because I just really liked it. I think that a lot of these really just suit the Spiritborn as a class. Personally, I would say if you're going to be jumping into a game like this and you're going to be making a character like this, go hard. I am actually one of probably the few people who goes against what I'm saying right there. I generally tend to make what people would call boring characters, but I don't go with boring options in terms of jewelry and markings and stuff. I usually go for plainer hair colors, like I go for the blacks and stuff like that. Sometimes go for the paler skin tones, and like it's sort of a common choice, I feel. But with all this cool stuff here, you think to yourself, man, I'm missing out if I don't go for them. And it's true. There's a lot to miss out on. Like, they're not really, like, breaking the mold with any of these options here, but they all just look neat and tidy. And they make sense. They were back on the Seer's Bones. We're going to leave those on because they just look good. Then we look at the markings. So, for the markings, there's a bunch here that are specifically new to the Spiritborn. And they are very interesting because, like, lore-wise, there's a whole lot going on here. And you would probably do well to sort of investigate them further. You can sort of see all the different spirit animals have their little bits and pieces, like the leopard prints here, the like talons, and the carapace from the big centipede worm thing. There's just like a really cool combination of all the different spirits. Here's another one where you got all these different combos. There's one that's sort of more inspired by the eagle, I think. Very cool. And I'm not sure how many of them are unique to the Spiritborn, but I know a few of them are. It might only be those first 3, and then the rest of these are not. But that is something that you're going to have to figure out for yourself. I will just say that a lot of these look really cool, and it's also one of those situations where some of them look really phenomenal when you throw on, like... Obviously, it depends on the skin tone that you go for, but when you throw on a different color, and we'll have a look at those in a moment. And really differentiate yourself from the pack with it. I hate that keeps happening, by the way. It's like you jump in and you've made a character and you're like, wow, I've really done well. But then the first other class that you see, so you jump in on a Spiritborn, then you see like the first other Spiritborn running past you in the world, and he just looks like way better. And then you sit and you thinking to yourself, like, what did I just do for an hour in character creation? How? How did this happen? How am I so bad at this? Is it just me that has that? I hope it's not just me, man. It's not that it's not good. It's more that, you know, it's like that meme with the guy watching the girl in the red dress. It's like, you know, there's the greener pastures on the other side, right? Anyway, we're on the last few pages here. I think this is the last one. Some pretty cool markings. And obviously you can sort of do a lot with them if you change the colors, which I'm going to do for you right now. We're on purple mana. Here's orange. Looks kind of useless on this, so it doesn't really do much of anything. This, however, is kind of sick. That's camouflage. Teal. Cyan. Inked tattoo. Scars. Fresh blood, which is just wow. Damn. Some of these look really nice. And that's sort of similar to the camouflage. Bright white. Blue. And yellow. There you go. Pretty cool. And that actually brings us to the end of the customization options. When you click next here, then you can select your campaign state. You can start either the original campaign or Vessel of Hatred, which is nice. It's awesome to get that choice. Then you can choose seasonal or hardcore, or seasonal and hardcore. You put your name in and you game in. However, we're going to randomize first. So let's have a peek at what's actually available. I'm going to leave the zoom level here. I actually felt like the randomize on males worked a little better than the randomize on females, but I thought that the overall look and feel, the style of the female Spiritborn made more sense to me. Maybe it's just because I'm sitting here thinking, man, the female has the best body type. That's the best female body type. You guys may be sitting here thinking the male has the best body type, and this one looks the best, so you might have the opposite opinion. And that's the beautiful thing about this whole game, right? And about this new addition to the game. That's kind of sick. Is we can all have different opinions, and we can still agree that it's awesome. Because, I mean, this is a muscular dude, right? Oof. He looks really nice, of course. But, yeah, I think you might have to work a little harder to make, like, a really, really good-looking character. That is sick. And I feel like it's the hairstyles, man. You gotta, like, lean into it more. You gotta lean into it a little bit more. But, yeah, overall, a lot of decent options here. And Randomize does show them off. And it shows sort of the broader strokes of what's possible. And that's cool. Alright, that brings us to a terrifying end. Jeez, look at that. That brings us to the end of the Spiritborn class customization. I love it. I think it's awesome. And that right there, as like a snapshot, is just perfection. Like, there's just nothing else to say. This is just great. I love it. But we are going back again, and we're going to look at all these quickly, and I'm going to show you how they look. So, this is the new character selection. We were here at the start of the video, but we're back here now, and I'm going to show you what it looks like for each of the classes. I think that it has some parts that work better, look better, make more sense than the original that they had here, but it does take away a lot of the charm that the campfire scene had before. And I mean, you can't deny that. It's iconic. The campfire for Diablo character creation is just like, it's part of the game. So it being gone feels kind of weird. This, however, does appeal to me as well in different ways. I'm not going to run down all the classes. I'm just going to show you what it looks like on all of them. I'm going to go through them a few times. I love how they present the classes here. I think it's really nice. They give you a good idea of what the class is about by just showing you this model, their stance, their intentions, their weapons on fire, and then obviously this little video over here. And then they give you a pretty succinct rundown of what the class can do and how it feels and whatever. And that's great. Like, there's really no complaining. However, campfire, you know, I'm going to go through them again so we can see the males and the females. But like, visually, this is just super impressive. It's a treat. And I wanted to point out, this is kind of like important that I think a lot of people miss, is that we are technically still at the campfire. It's burning right down here below the screen. You just can't see it, right? We're technically still there. It's just, you know, it's not the center of attention anymore. So, yeah. Yeah, yes, it's fine. This is cool. This is cool. Like, that's sick. The rogue is kind of nice as well. Yeah. So I'm going to go through them again so you can get to see the males and the females. There you go. Female. We're going to see if we can look at... That's like such cool poses. The female barbarian. Let's have a look. There you go. Pretty cool. Male sorcerer. Dude, I love that cloak. That's so medieval. Necromancer also looks amazing. There's the male. Now we're looking for the female druid. There she is. Kind of great. And then the male rogue, or was it the female rogue? We wanted the female. Yeah. There we go. Female rogue also looks really good. I mean, the poses, the models, all that stuff, it looks great here. Like, it's really nice. And, hey, for the purposes of the hairstyles that we're going to look at, we're going to jump in on the female rogue. Why not? We'll also jump on the male rogue because we need to look at the male styles. But on that topic, new hairstyles were added for all the other classes, not just the Spiritborn. I'll use this to show them to you. I'm not exactly sure which ones they were. I'm going to say that straight up. So I'm going to go into customize here, and I'm just going to show you all the hairstyles available, and you will be able to see that there are more. Now, there are 9 new hairstyles for female. Because there weren't that many, unfortunately. There are 9 new hairstyles for female, and they are amazing. You can like see which ones were crossing over from the Spiritborn. They look really cool. And then there are 3 that are unisex and 8 for male. So I think that's the lot of them. So you'll see a lot of these we had on the Spiritborn. But now we have them here as well. They're just new hairstyles, yeah. Like, I realize I'm showing a lot of duplicate stuff here, but it's worth it. And, you know, if you care about stuff like hair, like me, if you care about your mohawk on your character, which this is just like the perfect one, it's called the hawkish plume, then you watch this kind of thing. This is phenomenal. And this texture on this guy, oh, geez, don't let me get carried away here. That's a really floofy afro as well. I dig it. So that's the new hairstyles for female. There are a bunch of them here. Again, I couldn't point them out exactly, but generally, I'd say the ones that look better and are animated really well, and just, you know, feel like they are modern and up to date, those are the new ones, right? Okay, let's jump onto the male quickly. Let's have a look at those there. This is a straight short. That's definitely one of the new ones, by the way. These ones with the bones in the back of the hair here are new. You know who this guy looks like a little bit? The Creed frontman. What's his name? Scott Stapp or something? I can't remember his name. He looks a little like that guy. I'm sorry! I'm sorry if you're a rogue player and you don't like Creed. I just so happen to like Creed. So it's not a problem for me. But as I mentioned, 8 new hairstyles for male. Which is a lot. It's a significant amount. That's like one of the new styles as well. This is definitely one of the new styles. It's kind of nice. Very prim and proper. And hey, hooray for unisex styles, right? Hooray for new styles on both. There you go. I think we went through all of them. We started on Western Short. That's it. And with that, we are done. I have good things to say. Of course. I personally like the female style on the Spiritborn class a little more, but only a little. I think both of them look phenomenal. I love what they've done with the overall aesthetic, the look and the feel of the class, the essence of the Spiritborn. It's there, and it's a raging fire. It's burning blue, however, as you may have noticed, and many other colors. But I'm telling you, I really like all of it. I think it looks great. And, you know, it's seamlessly just slotting itself into the selection that's already there in Diablo 4. And it just feels like it's been part of the game forever. Because it just works, you know? It just works. You can make some pretty awesome characters on both male and female Spiritborn. You can make ones that feel like they are lore-friendly and accurate. And then you can just make some wild and wacky creations as well, and that's fun. You should never take people's fun away. That's why I always advocate for, let's just say, everything to be unisex. I even like to say, hey, put facial hair, proper beards and stuff on both. Just give everyone everything, because who the hell cares? Why not, right? I always advocate for that. And for the most part, they deliver. They give you a bunch of really cool and fun options, and that's cool. I'm impressed overall by what they managed to make. I'm impressed by the fact that they managed to make the Spiritborn class actually feel like a cool combination of older classes that came before, and then also managed to make it be its own unique, special, and new thing. That's sick. So yeah, kudos to the guys at Blizzard. They've done a great job, and I'm happy to hear that Vessel of Hatred has been doing well and all the rest. I hope you guys jumping in have enjoyed it. I hope that you guys have had a blast. I'd love to hear from you what you like and don't like about the Spiritborn. I really don't see much to complain about here. I would love to hear what you have to complain about. Sure, yeah. And, you know, the devs sometimes watch these videos. So if you have any input, if you have any criticism, leave it below. But as always, you can give this video a like, share it, and do all that other good stuff. You can find my links below as well. My coffee page, my Twitch channel. And hey, dudes, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Yeah. Do it. Enjoy playing those Spiritborns. Enjoy the new campaign and all the rest. Happy that.